Alright guys, so in this video we are going to cover one of the cornerstone concepts for the game, which is forming teams. You will form teams from cards in your hand to do a variety of different things. That will include hiring, completing tasks, and overcoming drama. So what you're seeing on the screen here is your starting deck. These are all of your interns. You will have them in a draw deck, and you will have 5 cards in your hand to start off with. And the process to form teams means to lay them down in front of you. And what you're doing is you're looking to use them for the values at the top left of the card, which is up here. And this is their production. This is how much work they produce. So in this case, we would produce 1 yellow, 1 blue, and 1 red. As it relates to forming teams, however, you do have one other stat that you have to pay attention to, which is the team dynamic. The team dynamic is the fire or ice symbol that shows up directly under their work value. That represents how well they get along with others and whether or not other people are willing to work with them in a team. So in order to form a team, you have to put together a group of cards that have at least 0 team hostility or team dynamic that is at 0 or more ice. So in this case right here, we see that the Bard has 2 calming effects on team dynamics, so it brings 2 ice. We have a Barbarian that brings 1 fire, and we have a Pirate that brings 1 fire. That balances out 2 ice to 2 fire. This would be an effective team, and this team overall produces 3 blue and 2 red. Okay, so we can, if we see that we have different types of workers in our hand, we wouldn't be able to produce a team that was 2, 2, and 2. This is too hot, too much frustration in this team. So no production is made with a team like this. Okay, so starting off with our cards here, what do we do with them? How do we use our work values to do anything in the game? So what we're looking for is our costs associated with things on the board. The first thing that you'll do, especially at the beginning of the game, is you'll look to hire new workers. So your workers show up here in your applicant pool. These are your applicants. And they have 2 different costs. You'll see at the very bottom here, the cost associated with them is the amount of work that you need to play, or the work that you need to form a team in order to hire. Now, as mentioned on a previous video, white is a wild color, meaning that you can use any type of work in order to overcome or complete that cost. So with 6 on a white square, it means that you can use any color work production to make up that 6. So 2 yellow, 2 blue, 2 red, whatever. In this example right here, this is 4. So you would only need 4 work in order to hire that card. So just to go through this process here, what you would do is, let's say that we had these cards in our hand. We are going to play them to the desk. We have 2 plus 1 plus 1, so that equals 4. We have 1 heat value and 2 ice, which means that we do have a positive ice value, so that this is an effective team. And that means that we could hire either the upgraded Ranger or the upgraded Barbarian into our deck. Further, if we had one of our other cards here, let's say we have another Barbarian. So if we drew this into our hand as a starting deck, or a starting hand, we would have 2, 2, and 2, so 2 red, 3 yellow, and 1 blue, with 2 heat value balanced out by the ice value here that equals 6. That would allow us to hire this expert wizard. All right, so that principle will carry true across the game with our cost values and for even triggering powers. We'll get into that in a little bit, but if we look at one of the other things that we do with our production value is, let's take a look at our tasks. Right here, we can see that this cost value takes 3 red and 3 white or 3 of any color. So this would be 3, we do need actually 3, and then 3 of any other color, and you'd be able to complete that task. 4 yellow, 2 of any other color, and we would be able to complete that task. Same thing with the blue, and same thing with the red. So as an example here, we wouldn't be able to necessarily accomplish that with our first, let's see, is there any other, nope. Let's do this right here. So, if this was our starting hand, we would be able to use these cards right here to overcome this task. We would have 3 red plus 3 of any other color, and we have our heat values 2 plus 3, which means we have a positive ice of 1. This would be a successful team. We'd have 3 plus 3 plus 1. It looks like I overpaid a little bit here, but this is actually a good point. I overpaid a little bit. This would be an ideal situation where I'd have 3 production, 3 red, 3 blue in order to overcome this, but I only have 1 ice to 2 fire, which wouldn't allow me to make a successful team. So I need to throw in the bard, overpay on the production a little bit, but that will balance out our team and allow it to work successfully together in order to overcome this task, or to complete this task. You will also use that same principle to overcome drama. The cost is a little different, but the same principles apply. So if we look here and we see that our costs are on this bar here, it means we have 5 yellow, 1 work of any other type, and you also have to spend a coffee. And this coffee indicates that it can be of any type. This one is 3 yellow work, 3 of any other type, but we also need to spend a yellow coffee. 3 blue work, 3 of any type, a blue coffee, and the same thing here with the red. Okay? In summary, just to recap what we've talked about, in order to form teams, you will play cards from your hand to the board. And what you're looking for is to balance the heat and ice cost to make sure that we at least have a 0 or positive ice value so that they will work together. And you're looking for the top left corner, which is their work or production value. That production value, that work value, is what we're going to use to pay the cost on applicants. This would require 4 work of any color. This would require 6 work of any color. You will also use it to complete tasks. This is 3 work, 3 red, and 3 of any color. And then this is all 4 work of a respective color and 2 of any other color. That's that's completing tasks. And you will also use formed teams in order to complete drama, with the same process, but with the additional need for a coffee.